And welcome to the Purple College Basketball Invitational. It is the championship game. The hardware is set to be handed out. Cleveland State out of the Horizon League against Illinois State out of the Missouri Valley Conference. Their first meeting tonight since way back in 2018. Here's a look at how we got here. Both teams had to grind it out in a pair of semifinal wins yesterday. The Redbirds over Incarnate Word out of the Southland, and Cleveland State comeback fashion against FGCU out of the Atlantic Sun. And here we are for the title affair with Joe Lenardi, the ESPN bracketologist. I am Roy Philpott. And Joe, one of these teams gets to cut down the nets tonight.
And only 4 teams in America will say that at the end of the month, the 4 postseason tournaments out of 364 Division I schools. So a big deal to bring home hardware and cut down the nets.
Very big deal here in beautiful Daytona Beach. We will start with Chase Walker, the big man in the middle for the Redbirds. 27-8 yesterday. He is an absolute force down low.
In foul trouble down the stretch in the semifinal against Incarnate Word. Came into the game at the under 4 and immediately went to work and scored the baskets that got Illinois State here, Roy. He is an irresistible force and sometimes an immovable object in the post, and he will be first, not just on Cleveland State's scouting report, but anyone the Redbirds play.
Meanwhile, for Cleveland State, Ja'Shawn Stevenson, Joe, was the Horizon League Rookie of the Year. He played like a grizzled veteran with 17 points in their win against the Eagles.
He's been in all 35 games, but hasn't started. They bring him off the bench. They've nursed him through his freshman year, and he looks like a big-time, high-level player to me, unafraid of the moment. Big shots, not just for himself, but finding other guys down the stretch in another tight semifinal that the Vikings were fortunate enough to escape.
And we are fortunate enough that ESPN allowed you out of the bracket bunker here at the end of March to call a game courtside. We're excited about the next 40 minutes, and let's see who wants to bring home this hardware.
Like these teams and their fans, I was just glad to see the sun.
See a lot of that in the land this time of year up in Illinois, but here we are in Daytona. It felt like summer today. Glorious afternoon.
I wouldn't know. I was so locked into my prep, I never left the room.
Can't say that I'm shocked with that commentary. Redbirds in the white-red uniforms, Cleveland State and the Vikings in the black and green. Veteran officiating crew with Michael Kitts, Brian Zink, Jason Bradwell. Opening tip controlled by Cleveland State. And here come the Vikings. I'm a diva with possession, transferred from South Carolina. Cleveland State, a team in the Horizon this year. They were at the top of the conference for a bulk of the regular season. They were listed in some of your bracketology reports.
More than a couple, most of the season at the top of the Horizon League.
Take a look at our purple starting lineups. The Redbirds led by Chase Walker, man in the middle. Kinziger, second leading scorer and tremendous shooter from the perimeter. Outside, it's Walker for 3. He's been working on that jumper and off the mark.
We saw him out there in early warm-ups. Didn't really expect it to start the game.
He said, Chase, you're going to shoot a couple of threes today? He said, maybe, and we saw that, and there's the first bucket. Rima Diba connects. Devin Smith leading scorer for Cleveland State. And we mentioned Ja'Shawn Stevenson. He will come off the bench. One of the top players in the Horizon. Just a freshman. An incredible future ahead of him.
In the meantime, though, Diba, kind of untraditional mid-major point guard at 6'6".
Walker's first bucket off the pump fake. Fundamentally sound for the big fella. He loves the pump fake, Joe.
But we also are going to keep an eye on him, needing to kick it out at times because the double team and the traps at the low post are coming from the Vikings.
Ty Stavesky at 29 in the quarterfinal victory for Cleveland State. And Diba again off the right side. Common theme here in Daytona Beach the last couple of years. You win this tournament, it bodes well for your program in the years to come. Tell you more about that as we get deeper into this game. Kinziger off the pump fake in the 3. No good.
That sidestep for the open 3 becoming more and more popular when guys run at you.
And a foul inside on Abide. Danielle Robinson, year number 3. He is a former Illinois State assistant for 4 years. Early stages of his coaching career. Talked about that with us today. He's actually pretty good friends with Brian Peden, the head coach at Illinois State. They ran into each other a good bit in recruiting circles when they were at Iowa State and Ohio State, respectively.
Both great young coaches in their first head jobs and doing it the right way, trying to build the old way. Culture, character, high school recruits, the occasional transfer, and keep guys around to grow together.
Davis, the runner, gets the roll. Jordan Davis, his brother Johnny, played in the NBA. Bloodlines impressive in the Davis household. And Illinois State out in front.
Illinois State, the better offensive team. Cleveland State, the better defensive team. So, a bit of a contrast in styles, Roy.
Zabesky off the mark. Walker with a rebound and a bump on the perimeter. Diva picks up his first. Brian Peden, also year 3. Assistant coach at Butler. They made their respective runs deep into the tournament, going back to the last decade. And you mentioned culture and a lot of the key buzzwords. Just trying to do it the right way and not just a one-and-done type of program.
Horizon League, Missouri Valley, both leagues that are a little late to the party with the portal and NIL, and that might not be by choice, but it's nice to run into programs that are still doing it the old-fashioned way.
Personals called on Dylan Arnett, All-Horizon League third-team performer this year. That's going to put Walker at the line. He was cold to start yesterday in that first half, and then, Joe, he had 4 clutch free throws down the stretch.
It's cold from the line to start, but he made the ones that mattered. A guy missed half of his freshman season, but not because of injury. He was going to redshirt a year ago. The Redbirds lost a veteran center, and they went to the bullpen, if you will, to bring Chase Hunter, who was working on his body and losing weight and becoming more ready for Division I. Had a terrific second half of the season and has blossomed now into an all-league player as a sophomore.
Chase Walker at 400 pounds as a high school sophomore, trimmed it down to 325 as a senior, now at 270. And it's an absolute force in the interior. Zabesky off glass. First bucket for Taj. Second leading scorer for Cleveland State this year. He's had his moments in this CBI here in Daytona. Dalton Banks over to Davis, inside to Walker. The extra pass working well to start the Redbirds. Banks with 5 on the timer, well short.
And the cold shooting from deep continues to hurt Illinois State.
Good look ahead to Tevin Smith. He's off the mark. He wanted the foul, no whistle.
You know the Redbirds want to shoot it from deep a lot. Last 3 games, only 27%.
Ty Pence his first touch. And a turnover gives it back to the Vikings. For 16 being a timeout. Taj Zabesky has had his moments here in Daytona. Bank shot is good. And a 5-4 game to begin here at the CBI. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the Purple CBI Championship is brought to you by Purple. Greatest sleep ever invented. And by AARP. Join AARP today. Look down the beautiful beach here in Daytona. Right off the pier. And a 1-point game. 4 minutes inside of Ocean Center. Joe Lenardi, Roy Philpott, one of these teams will cut down the nets, get the hardware, and celebrate a championship tonight. And these two teams, 2 of just 41 still remaining by our rough arithmetic earlier today, still playing men's college basketball. And, you know, the importance of this title potentially for both sides. Both programs mentioned that to us pregame. It's a big deal. They wanted to be here. For Cleveland State, it's their 3rd straight year in this tournament. They're ready to win it. For Illinois State, Joe, they've never won a postseason tournament in their basketball history. So think about what that would mean for Ryan Peden in this program. The Redbirds taking the trophy back home.
Back to the semifinals here back in 2014. Trying to take that last step up the ladder tonight.
People with his back to the basket. The size advantage. Draws the double team. And Arnett will get the bounce. Scrappy player, Arnett. Cleveland State out in front.
And his mom in the coffee shop yesterday.
You are a man of the people. You attract an audience wherever you go, whether it's players, parents of players, officials, coaches. They see Joe Lunardi. They've got an opinion they want to share with you.
I was just trying to get a Cafe Americano.
Walker triple team, Chase Walker.
That is Chase's game in a nutshell, and it is a big nutshell.
6'9", 270. Behind the back pass from Tevin Smith.
His leg is bigger than we are.
That would be an understatement. That pass grazed the net, stays in bounds, 10 to shoot. And no problem for a beat at.
A nice up and under move there. Pretty much what we expected, an even game. A little bit of a contrast in styles, as we mentioned, but as always, comes down to shot making and taking care of the ball.
Get in a transfer from Wichita State. It's not rocket science, it's basketball. You're trying to win a championship this late in March. Fundamentals become even more critical. Kinziger.
Tough shot.
Grabbed by Banks. That did graze the rim. That should not be a shot clock violation.
Mike Kitts Jr. on the whistle. Dad, a long time D1 official as well.
Chase Walker downstairs.
It doesn't seem to matter how many guys are around him because he kind of creates his own circle of movement. A walking basket and a walking box out.
Well, the shot by Kinziger did hit the back part of the rim, at least off of our observation. Shot clock should have reset to 20, and it was Illinois State that did grab the rebound eventually along that far side.
Yeah, they're going to end up with the ball here in a new 20, I suspect. We'll get our own look at it. Not a lot of movement on the wing, so Kinziger has to break his man down. You'll see it definitely draws iron.
And then it was Banks on the perimeter that hauled in that board. Inside out, Illinois State Redbirds would get it. They confirmed our suspicion. White controlled it at the whistle. It's Illinois State, according to its veteran officiating crew, and 19 on the timer as a result.
I'm guessing you're not a big fan of reviews here tonight.
If you're trying to make a quick flight out of town, not ideally, but the game at hand is what is most important to Joseph.
No doubt. I am going to torture you, though.
You and this crew. Kinziger, the step back. Boy, that's a good shot for the mid-range for number 11. He had his moments yesterday, too. Johnny gave up a couple of shots early, struggled with the outside game, and then came back with a big block of Davion Bailey on a corner three that sparked Illinois State in that second half, Joe.
And, of course, at 90.3%, made some big foul shots to seal it coming down the stretch, although he did miss one.
You jinxed him. That was on you.
He's not missing any more in this tournament.
I think he missed two after your commentary, by the way.
He's definitely not missing anymore.
He does not appreciate that. How about the jumper by Chase Robinson, sixth man of the year in the horizon. And more trapping full court pressure than back out of it this possession.
Play starters minutes, does Chase Robinson. Whoops.
Pass sails high, the turnover by Banks.
They really want and need to turn you over, Cleveland State, because they're not an easy scoring team. They're not a jump shooting team. They're a grind it out, put it up on the rim and go get it kind of team. And they take and make tough shots because they have to. Our first look at Jay Sean Stevenson. You see number 4 in black, the freshman of the year in the Horizon League. We were so impressed with.
We were, but you told Coach Robinson pregame, like, hey, you gave him some breaks last night. We kind of wanted to see him out there a little bit more, didn't we?
Well, he played when it was winning time.
That's correct.
Not a great shooter yet, but obviously a gifted guy who's more than able physically to thrive at this level, and you hate to say it, maybe beyond. They're confident they're going to have their nucleus back. Are the Vikings for next year? Same for the Redbirds. In fact, Chase Hunter is already committed for next year, as recruiting your own locker room becomes vital for all these programs.
Women's Sweet 16 matchups headed your way Friday on ESPN and the app. North Carolina and Duke. Tip off the day, 2:30 Eastern. Maryland, number 1 seed, South Carolina. LSU, NC State, the 2 and the 3. Ole Miss, UCLA, 5 versus the 1. Down in Spokane, that will be late Friday night over on ESPN. First foul on Kinziger. Illinois State back to work, trailing by 2.
Bowser down the lane. His first touch and a tie game.
Instant offense.
He was yesterday as well in the first half of the semifinal.
Is that another player you wanted to see a little bit more, perhaps?
Well, I think he can probably only play the 5. I haven't seen he and Hunter yet out there together. I mean, Hunter's going to be the choice. Walker, what am I saying?
Thinking about the shooting guard up in the ACC.
Exactly.
For the bucket by Robinson. Lead back to 2. Here goes Ty Pence. Now Dalton Banks. It's like a pack line defensive approach down on that baseline.
Really closing out on the shooters. And
speaking of closeouts, a beat out. Jay Sean Stevenson, so strong.
I want to say he is the Saquon Barkley of the Horizon League. Look at that upper body.
Another mention of the Philadelphia Eagles.
I did not mention the Philadelphia Eagles. I mentioned an individual trying not to draw the wrath of our producer.
Bowser, instant offense tonight, 4 quick points. Aiden Bowser, Frisco, Texas. 5 games, 2 starts. 4 points this season. Back and forth affair to start here in the College Basketball Invitational Championship. Stolen by Pence. Coast to coast, and we're tied.
So the team that needs to force turnovers is being turned over and giving it up in transition.
Stevenson lost the handle. On the deck was Banks. And here comes Poindexter. Had some big shots in that first half yesterday in the semis. Went over Incarnate Word. And a bump on the perimeter. Reese Robinson picks up his first. Ty Pence, a spark yesterday. Also again today, a little coast to coast. The steal and the flush. They're tied at 15, halfway home in the first. Let's take you back in time. Just 3 years ago, championship game. Produce a double overtime thriller. UNC Wilmington. Middle Tennessee, the Seahawks prevailed. Were led by tournament MVP Jalen Sims, who scored 28 points, 14 of 15 from the charity stripe. K.O. Siddle completed a 2-year turnaround with UNCW hoisting that championship trophy after winning 4 games in 4 days here at Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. And what a feeling it was. Hard to believe, Joe. 3 years ago, UNCW got it done.
And they were a 9 seed, ran through the bracket.
Seattle won it last year, then Charlotte, UNCW in 2022.
Last 9 seed to win it all in a major tournament. I want to say the Villanova Wildcats over Georgetown in 1985.
Took a perfect second half nearly to complete that upset, right?
Well, at a time when you could take 10 shots in a half, make 9, and outscore the other guys. Now 10 shots is...
It's 2 possessions.
1 4-minute segment.
Off the turnover, Cleveland State, Dylan Arnett gets the bounce. This game, we've now seen both teams combine to make 10 of their last 11 shots. We like good offense. We can sell offense, Joe. We can't sell defense and rebound. Coaches want us to. I can't do it as a play-by-play guy.
The game looks better when the ball goes in the basket.
It's a beautiful sport. Cleveland State getting more active with the hands. Cole Franklin tapped that one out of bounds.
I'll say this,
lead it by 2.
Illinois State working very hard to isolate three-point shooters on the wings and in the corners, and it's just not happening because the Vikings are in the passing lanes. And somehow they're also, for the most part, keeping the ball out of Walker's hands. Something's got to give.
Walker lost the handle on the pass from Kinziger. And it bounced that one in there to no avail. Cleveland State's made 6 in a row from the floor.
But they're only up by 2 because they've been turning it over.
3-pointer no good. Chase Robinson off the mark. Here's Pence in transition. Kinziger for 3. Jordan Davis flies in for the rebound and a fresh 20. Pence from the corner now.
That's the way Illinois State wants to play in the half court, except for the part about the shots not going down. They want tip outs. They want dribble drive cuts. And they want to make threes. A lot of them. As a percentage of their field goal attempts all year, very high in the national rankings. In fact, top 30, just over 47% of their attempts from downtown, and that's with a stud post player.
Edwards 0 for 5 to start from distance.
And they've not shot well here at the Ocean Center all week. Trend started in their conference tournament loss.
Walker was D'ing up Arnett. And then how about the effort for Jordan Davis? Tapped the basketball away, then threw it off of Franklin. And Illinois State gets it back off the turnover.
Quick hands, quicker mind here from Davis. He tips the ball and then throws it off Cleveland State, off Cole Franklin. And the Redbirds a chance to tie or take the lead.
Like a bracketologist in Champ Week, seeing an upset in a mid-major conference and automatically knowing this is the team that this is going to hurt out of the Power 4. Didn't hurt North Carolina this year, did it?
I'm not going there, but you're not wrong.
Banks. Oh, rejected at the rack, and Reese Robinson going to pick up his second athletic play.
Say this, Roy, to everyone who's mentioned over the last week or two that there were no bid stealers in 2025, I would say, yes, there was. North Carolina.
That is a home run. That's a grand slam out of the ballpark, right?
Nobody says a bid stealer has to be a mid-major.
That's right. Is Arkansas your biggest surprise in the dance right now, given what how it started and where it could end up? They're in the Sweet 16, and they started 0-5 in the SEC this year.
I know, but I don't know that there's any team from the SEC this year that if they were in this Sweet 16 round would surprise me. Because it was such a gauntlet, you couldn't make the tournament without winning multiple, and I'm not talking about 2, I'm talking about like a handful or more high-level games. And the Razorbacks proved that down the stretch. From the moment Cal went back to Rupp Arena, their season changed for the better, and I don't know if they relaxed or what, but clearly they're good enough, and they are a very live underdog now.
Texas Tech Chance to go to the Elite Eight against the Hogs.
I mean, if that was a best-of-7 series, it would go 6 or 7, wouldn't it?
I would think so. Stabeski off the mark. Four ties, 6 lead changes between the Redbirds and the Vikings.
Texas Tech has the best player in JT Toppin of the two teams, but Arkansas might have more high-level guys.
Coming up next, how about a special message for Illinois State from a name, an actor, and a character you're going to recognize. Famous alums from Illinois State, Gary Cole, a.k.a. Lundberg from Office Space, Talladega Nights, John Malkovich, Pierre Detman, His Money, incredible actor, Jane Lynch, Doug Collins. Remember him from his time in the NBA, but maybe the most famous of all, Brendan Hunt, better known as Coach Beard, with a special message for Redbird Nation.
Just want to take a moment to send love to the fellows representing my alma mater, Illinois State University, in the college basketball invitational final today against Cleveland State. And I got no beef with Cleveland State, but I would like to point out Cleveland is not a state. Woo! Here we go. Redbirds, baby!
You think this doesn't mean something, Joe. You think it doesn't mean something. He's dialed in. He's tuned in. He's ready to see the Redbirds win it.
And obviously knows his geography.
Cleveland is not a state.
Unlike some of those new Big Ten coaches from the West Coast this year who seemed surprised at how long the trips were to the East Coast, most of us took geography like in 5th grade.
Coach Beard from Ted Lasso, one of the all-time great series.
But some serious acting talent coming out of normal Illinois from that list.
Malkovich, I mean, for my money, pound for pound, he's up there, right? I mean, he can play so many different roles.
But only Gary Cole played Bingo Bob Russell, vice president on the West Wing. Second greatest television series of all time. On the TV bracket.
Yeah. Out of bounds. No, they'll call traveling. Devin Smith gives it back to Illinois State.
Begs the question, don't you think? If it's the second best television series of all time?
Dare I ask the question?
Ash.
I mean, it's still one of the most watched finales of all time. That was before my time. I was too young. I don't remember.
Gosh, I would watch MASH after dinner in college with my dad, reruns back-to-back as an excuse not to study.
Poindexter drains the three.
Hit a big one in the first half. Last night when Illinois State was struggling offensively against Incarnate Word, another guy who plays starters minutes off the bench. There's 3 or 4 of them in this game.
Largest lead now for the Redbirds. Stevenson, a step back.
What is bucket to like? His shooting percentages are not great. All I've seen him do here in Daytona is make big shots.
He's grown up a little bit back half of the season, the newcomer of the year in the horizon. Banks is off the mark. 2-point advantage. Here comes Tevin Smith. Hit that right off of the knee of Poindexter. Stabeski off to Karam over to Arnett. Davis a running board. Banks double teamed outside to Davis. The extra pass. Landon Wolf. And finally an open three by Bozer, and he's got 7. And something to say on the way back down the court. Caden Bozer gives Illinois State a 5-point lead as we step aside. Five-point lead for Illinois State here at the Purple College Basketball Invitational Championship game. Caden Bozer, 4.5 points per game this year, 7 on the board tonight. He's also got an assist. Just 5 minutes of action. That is productive
Gets serious minutes, though, because as great as Walker is, he only averages 24 minutes a game. So that leaves 40% of the contest available for a backup center.
Foul on the edge by Poindexter. That's his first. 13 foul, the Redbirds. Cleveland State at 6, so next foul by the Vikings put Redbirds in the bonus.
Redbirds would have killed for a 5-point lead last night. They didn't get it until the last free throw of the night.
And a foul inside. Hard work for Abide. Wolf picks up the personal. And Abide rather at the strikers. 65% shooter this year. And he started his career at Wichita State, now redshirt junior. Last night's semifinal as this game moves to a 4-point edge. Illinois State led for 2 minutes and 45 seconds, but they ended the game in strong fashion.
Kind of like we say in golf, no pictures on the scorecard. Only need to lead at the end. I'm glad when I golf, Roy, that there aren't pictures for a lot of reasons.
You're playing a lot out of the sand. It's not the beach.
More like the trees for me. That's why it's great they've cut so many down.
Backdoor cut, brilliantly executed. Kinziger.
Illinois State spreading the floor. They do have a different look when Walker is not out there.
Smith, Tevin Smith. First bucket of the game. Tevin Smith.
Only three three-pointers combined by these teams.
Still a good pace, some good shot selection. Another three. That one falls for Bozer.
Make it 4.
He's got 10 points on a heater here in Daytona Beach. Stevenson. Rare miss. Rebound by Kinziger. He'll get it back. Rotated over to Bozer. Again. Timeout Vikings. Bozer with 13 and a perfect start. The 6-year player out of Frisco, Texas. Caden Bozer. Instant offense and a true difference maker. The lead at 8 for the Redbirds. CBI Tournament Flashback features the 2011 championship by Oregon. Dana Altman and company. A critical turnover by Creighton came late, and then here comes E.J. Singler drained this shot to give the Ducks the lead with 2 seconds left. Oregon goes on to win it 71-69. The Ducks were dancing that night deep in the woods in Eugene. Back in Daytona Beach, Joe Lenardi, Roy Philpott, Illinois State, its largest lead. Thanks in part to Caden Bozer playing in his final collegiate game. 3 stops along the way, most recently at Valdosta State, and now with the Redbirds. And what a way to go out with 13 coming off the bench.
He wants to be in that recliner with his grandchildren 40 years from now and say, in that CBI championship game back in 2025, I knocked down those back-to-back threes to really put Cleveland State on the ropes.
It's a 6-0 run by Bozer.
And by then, they're going to be guarded 30-footers in front of 20,000 people.
Big moment here for the Vikings. Vesky's yet to get going. From the corner, Abide, and a nice response.
So after only 3 three-pointers combined by these teams, we've seen 4 in a row in 4 attempts.
Bozer's open again. Not looking for the shot. How about the pass and off the fingertips of Ty Penson out of bounds?
Illinois State playing so well, spreading the floor here. Not seen a push to get Walker back on the floor. He's not in foul trouble. I don't think he has any foul.
Well, Bozer's been more effective in this game.
Well, and you know Cleveland State, particularly, they were here last night scouting. Their whole MO was to get ready for Walker. And a low post dominant half-court set.
That's why they play the game.
He'll be back.
Banks lost it for a second. Bozer the handoff to Davis. And now Pence the floater. Even the rebound.
Great offense, though. Ball movement, spacing, and a drive to the open middle.
B-Day outside to Robinson. Poked away by Bozer. Cleveland State maintains the possession. From the elbow off the back iron, Tebow off the mark. Tebow and Abide both getting looks on that possession for the Vikings. An empty one at its finish. Little pick and roll, Bozer. Dexter picked off the pass intended for Banks. Extra pass to Davis and an open three.
This is what was missing from Illinois State's offense in the semifinals. Nothing came easy.
And Incarnate Word has a way of making that happen.
Well, the three-point shot has a lot of variance, the statisticians would tell you.
Robinson fouled. He's going to shoot two. 35-27. Chase Robinson, sixth man of the year on the horizon, 77% free throw shooter. 22. Green and black tonight. Critical final 81 seconds of this first half of the championship. Big game tonight, two in fact. ESPN's NBA doubleheader. Luke and LeBron, the Lakers, take on the Pacers. Tyrese Halliburton. It's up first at 7:30 Eastern in the nightcap. Boston and Phoenix, the Suns, back in the playoff mix. Devin Booker playing well, game winner against the Bucks 2 nights ago, and here comes Phoenix. Chance to play in the postseason. A big test tonight, 10 o'clock Eastern, over on ESPN. Joe, that is the fun part about this year. You get the NCAA tournament, the NIT, the CBI in front of us here tonight, and the NBA closing down its regular season. And well, how many more years does Kevin Durant have with the Suns? Can they put it together and make a run? And Jimmy Butler with the Warriors, all kinds of late trades to add to the intrigue in the association. Lead down to 6. Banks makes it 8.
I was surprised Banks turned down the open three in the corner. But the short two is not a bad thing no matter what the analytics say.
What do the analytics say about those close shots, the mid-rangers?
Don't take them.
Talk to Nate Oates about that. He'll tell you. Tevin Smith, a layup.
And while I agree in the aggregate, just like swinging for the fences most of the time will generate more runs for your team, when it's 2-2 in the bottom of the ninth, sometimes you have to move the runner.
Opening day, Major League Baseball, coming up tomorrow, right?
I'm ready. It'll be another terrific year for the Phillies, as we know.
Oh, boy. 3-second differential between the clocks. Pence saves the high pass. 3 on the timer. Pence, desperation, even, and drops.
And the biggest lead of the week for Illinois State, at least in the semis and finals, comes as they head to the locker room, Roy, 20 minutes from a title.
The Redbirds, 6 of 11 from distance in our first 20 minutes. Ty Pence with 5 points and the bucket right before the buzzer. And you mentioned it, Illinois State with its largest lead of the game. Here in its time at Daytona Beach, an impressive start. Try to bring home some hardware. Halftime report coming up next. The lead is 9 for the Redbirds at the break. Welcome back to the Purple College Basketball Invitational Championship. Daytona Beach is the location. The hardware getting set to be distributed to the winner of this game. We are halfway home inside Ocean Center. Illinois State 20 minutes away from cutting down the nets. Joe Lenardi, Roy Philpott. The lead is 9, and the Redbirds from distance 6 out of 11. A true difference maker, Joe.
And you just take a look at the point differential from the three-point line in that first half, and it completely explains the 9-point margin. This is the way Illinois State wants to play. It's the way their coaching staff has designed the offense in the half court, and they did all that without much from their star, Chase Walker, the big fella in the middle. But when you're outscoring the other team by a dozen points at the three-point line, more often than not, you're going to come out on the winning end of things.
That is our AARP first half stats, 6 of 11 from downtown, rebounding about even, turnovers right there, neck and neck. You make the threes, the three-point differential, sometimes it's as simple as that.
That and the old guy doing the AARP halftime stat sponsorship.
What, do you call me the old guy?
I am not.
Okay. Redbirds will get it and have the first possession of our final 20 minutes.
I'm getting into shoot your age territory. I mean, provided I only play 9 or 10 holes.
I was going to say, if that's an 18-rounder, you're not doing bad.
I always say, I can score 68 in bracketology. Out on the links.
Backdoor cut, Kinzinger, downstairs after the cut. And Illinois State extending that advantage now. Its largest lead at 11, just underway in our second half.
Coach Ryan Peden telling us before the game, we're going to see tonight what a good passer Chase Walker is. And now, foul on the floor. And what a fine, a high-low pass, but it's big to little. Not the other way around, and an easy finish because of all the attention paid to the 5-man up top.
Chase Walker back on the floor. That was a jump ball. It stays with Cleveland State. Sophomore, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. Off the spin, Tevin Smith is short. Walker clears.
He's been quiet.
Smith was a little quiet last night and then started to heat up somewhat in the second half. Pence is wide open. Pence from deep. 7th triple for Illinois State. And Joe, the Redbirds are threatening to run away with this one. 45-31, a lot of basketball left. Stavesky stop and pop.
Sometimes the scouting report's pretty simple. For Illinois State, it would be they take a lot of threes, and some nights they go in. And oddly enough, they're up double digits because of it. Big bucket for Cleveland State just to stay in the conversation.
Walker was fouled and grabs his forehead. Only 5 points and 3 rebounds. Ty Pence moments ago from distance, Joe.
Pence made the one from the corner, you'll remember, at the end of the first half, which created a 9-point lead, and now it's just growing because since about the 5-minute mark of half number 1, the Redbirds cannot miss from downtown. You see Walker, a little bit of moisture coming out of that left eye, took a finger.
Well, nice job by this officiating crew to give him an extra moment to compose himself. It's almost like a catcher that maybe catches the fastball in the wrong spot. You get a second from a home plate umpire. You hope.
He suddenly brings out the little brush to tidy up home plate.
2 free throws for Walker. Take a look at the updated NIT bracket. And coming up as soon as we're done here tonight in Daytona Beach, Mark Neely and Mark Wise on the call. Kent State, Loyola Chicago up in Chi-Town. And the winner of that one advances to the semifinal to battle Chattanooga coming up on Tuesday.
That was a lane violation on Cleveland State for sure. They waited until the free throw was missed to call it. So Walker gets a free shot, if you will, but also the possible ignominy of taking the bagel in 3 tries.
They call that, it's not the golden sombrero, the 5 strikeouts, but something along those lines.
Yeah, it's not good.
It's not pleasant. Great start for Illinois State, a 13-point lead. Walker's got 6 and 3, coming off of 27 and 8 last night in the semifinal win against Incarnate Word. Shout out to the Cardinals, who played very well, represented the Southland Conference at a high level. Led for all but about 3 minutes in that game. Banks claims the rebound. Here come the Redbirds. Team to be reckoned with in the future. They are built. Incredible sophomore class featuring those 2 players there, Kinziger, Chase Walker.
And Pence, a sophomore.
And a jump ball. It'll stay on this end. 2 minutes into our second half. Couple of substitutions. Jay-Sean Stevenson on the floor, a little quicker to begin this half. And checking out is Diva and Arnett.
They need offense. They need something explosive, and they need it in a hurry to the Vikings.
Walker springs free. Give it back to Banks. Making a concerted effort here to try to get it inside to the big man.
Well, he's got the mismatch on Franklin.
And I think he traveled, he did. Walker turns it over. There was some contact after the turnover. What a great call.
Hasn't really gotten his low post game on track, but they haven't needed it. You see the double on the catch, as we were told would be the case.
He is the king of the pump fake. Put that on the scouting report for next year. He's committed to return to Illinois State. Staveski. Stevenson for 3. He continues his hot shooting inside and out.
Only a 31%er from deep for the season. But that doesn't matter now. Without a few more, there's only going to be 17 minutes left in the season.
Stevenson with 7 coming off the bench. 2 under his season average, and here comes the steal. Chase Robinson bullies his way up to the rim. And Cleveland State suddenly, Joe, a little bit of momentum.
They've cut 15 down to 8 here.
Quick arithmetic on your part. As a bracketologist, you have to be fast with the math. And a foul on the perimeter. It goes against the Vikings, the initial call, but Stevenson.
Double foul. That explains why the Illinois State bench, Coach Ryan Peden, was so upset. We hear from this side of the court, no.
Team's starting to get a little bit chippy with the high stakes. Illinois State's been in control back to the end of the half, and Walker fouled hard. He will walk away. They will say that is in the act of shooting.
No question.
Abide interfered on the path to the rim. The 3rd personal on Isaac Abide, redshirt junior. And Walker back to the line. Walker, the leading scorer, rebounder for the Redbirds this year. You mentioned the story where the redshirt came off January of 2024. The injuries, Redbirds in the post. Coach Peden made the phone call to the Walker household, checked all the boxes, decided to put him on the floor, and boy, he's paid dividends ever since.
And to get mom's permission, never a bad idea.
Clean rebound for Reese Robinson. And the Vikings trailing by 9. Stevenson pulls the 3, and this time off the right side. First meeting between these two schools since back in 2018. Sixth meeting overall. Redbirds 4-1 series lead, and over the top, the block out of bounds. That was clean by Robinson. It stays with Illinois State.
Redbirds did a nice job there of identifying the mismatch. Walker on Staveski, but unable to finish. Now Walker gets a breather. He plays, kind of watching them over 2 or 3 days. 5 4-minute segments and a half. He typically plays 1, 3, and 5. If the game is going Illinois State's way, at least, barring foul trouble.
Extra pass, Pence from the corner, rims out. Caden Bozer back on the floor at 13 in the first half in limited playing time. Ryan Peden pouring his team defensively. Make them feel you, and they'll feel that foul. Tevin Smith gonna head to the free throw line after this timeout. 47-38. Free throws coming for Cleveland State. Back in Daytona Beach after this. (47-38) back in Daytona Beach. Here the Purple College Basketball Invitational Championship game. We're hanging out with ESPN bracketologist Joe Lenardi. I'm Roy Philpott. Cleveland State on the comeback trail. They have faced a deficit as large as 14 tonight. It has now been trimmed.
I misspoke and said it was 15.
I mean, it's the first time you've misspoken on anything. All college basketball fans would agree with that statement.
Except the ones in North Carolina.
I don't see you having dinner at top of the hill anytime soon. It could be mistaken. Here's Smith. One more free throw for Cleveland State's leading scorer this year. Transfer from Denver. He started all but one game. An all Horizon League third-team performer from numeral 0 out of Danville, Illinois. Full court pressure from the Vikings. They love to turn teams over. The top 15 in the land in that category. Almost 16 per contest. Really a here. Yeah, Stevenson poked it loose. Kinziger will get rid of it to Banks. Banks outside to Davis. Bozer wants it. He'll get it. Off the hesitation. And a monster step on the left side of the lane draws contact.
Just mucking it up. A lot of fouls. Free throws. This is the way Cleveland State wants the game to be. They think they can claw their way back in that way. Bozer, who was such an offensive force and contributor in the first half, especially with those back-to-back threes late.
His final game, playing college hoops, 6 seasons, his third stop. Mentioned most recently at Valdosta State, UMKC before that, Eau Claire, Wisconsin. No mistake mentioning Frisco. Fifth year, Eau Claire High School. Wing 3, no good. Bozer.
Nice save and a good job by Davis to reestablish himself in bounds before he touched that loose ball.
Davis thought about it. Kinziger. Great elevation on the jumper and a foul over the back. It'll go against 33, Bozer.
You just wonder when you look at the Vikings as this attempted comeback continues. Where's the breakdown guy? Where's the explosive guy? Where's the guy who can get you, 2 or 3 buckets in a row? Maybe Tevin Smith.
On cue. Banks it in. And Smith now with 9 points.
He'd be the first choice. We just really haven't seen it the last couple nights.
Kinzinger went down to the deck, maintained the dribble, somehow did it finally. Foul's going to be called on Cole Franklin. Here's the shove.
Foul's already adding up, especially on the Vikings.
Malachi Poindexter checks back in. Bozer to Banks, over to Pence. Wide open, Dalton Banks, and a good find from Ty Pence with a dive.
Every now and again, that little back cut gives one of the guards a layup for Illinois State because defenses have to honor the three-point line. They shoot so many of them.
Yeah, Joe, to your point, we've seen that a couple of times tonight. Early bucket. Great vision. And a chance for three for Reese Robinson. Little high-low action. Big to little, not a bad thing.
It's a pretty steady part of their attack. In the end, one at the other end for Robinson, but cannot convert. Give up an offensive rebound, which they were so worried about.
That could have been a 4-point possession and a big sequence for the Vikings. Instead, Franklin missed the layup. Pence outside, that's a three. Kinzinger, no. And a trio of Vikings jump up for the board. It's claimed by Franklin. Just a 7-point game and a lot of time left here in the championship of the College Basketball Invitation.
The Vikings just left at least 2, maybe 3 points.
Stevenson, the floater, drains it. He's got 9 points to match Tevin Smith now with 9. Joe's starting to feel more like a Viking style of play. 7 minutes into this second half.
And they're perfectly happy to not cut this deficit quickly. They just want to grind out possessions and get stops and rebounds.
Bozer, the backdoor cut. Kinzinger missed the layup. Off the pump fake. Poindexter from deep.
Made one from that same corner yesterday to end a scoring drought against Incarnate Word. Does the same now in crunch time tonight.
Franklin tries to penetrate around Pence, and Pence held his ground. Draw the double team. And finally a foul, the bump on the low block. 12:05 to go. Pence picks up his third. And Chase Walker back on the court.
Right around the 12-minute mark.
Tevin Smith lost the hand on the way out. And then off of Landon Wolf out of bounds. That gets us to the under 12 media timeout. The lead is 8, and Illinois State hoping it's only 12 minutes away. The Purple College Basketball Invitational Championship Trophy. Vikings will have something to say about it. The CBI Tournament Flashback features the 2010 championship by VCU. Joey Rodriguez, tournament MVP, helped VCU sweep St. Louis in the championship series. 13 points he had as VCU took care of business against the Billikens. 71-65, VCU, of course, would go on to the Final Four from the first 4 the next season, Joe.
And then the year after that, they would join the Billikens in the Atlantic 10. Where they've been
how that works
ever since.
Joe Lenardi, Roy Philpott. Strong performance today for the Wisconsin native Caden Bozer. Scored 17 points twice this year, 16 on one occasion. He's got 13, all those coming in the first half tonight. Currently on the bench with Chase Walker back on the floor. A little bit more beef. The interior, Cleveland State turns it over. Tevin Smith lost the grip, stepped out of bounds in the process.
That's the kind of possession that gives a coach gray hair. Get a timeout, throw something up, baseline out of bounds, and hold the ball for about 4 seconds.
Foul midcourt. Chase Robinson impeded the progress of Dalton Banks.
No shots here, but now the Redbirds will shoot the rest of the game. That's got to inhibit the Vikings' ability to gamble for steals.
Well, this game has gotten much more physical in the second half. Shot clock down to 2, pump fake, and out of bounds. Goes over to Cleveland State.
Kinziger looking for a call, but even if he'd gotten one, it might have been after the shot clock expired.
Joe, the Vikings getting stops. They've not scored in the last 2+ minutes. Smith lost it. Thanks to Poindexter. He's got the three-point shot. We've seen it. Short on the floater.
I thought he was going to pass it to Walker then. Would have been an easy layup, maybe even a dunk.
Stevenson in traffic.
He's got game, at least on offense.
They've brought him along the right way with head coach Danielle Robinson. Third straight year Cleveland State's been in this tournament. Walker outside to Wolf. And a three-pointer here, Joe, makes it a one-possession affair. Stevenson thinking about it. He'll penetrate, lift. Too strong this time, and inside, a foul called against the Redbirds.
Be the last non-shooting foul of the game. You see Stevenson with the nice Euro. Beautiful finish at the rim. Has a feel for the game beyond his years.
We've said that in a multitude of different ways the last couple of days. Smith, and a foul on Poindexter. So now Cleveland State in the bonus the rest of the way. That was on the shot, so 2 free throws by default for Tevin Smith.
Not the way Illinois State wants to play. The Vikings imposing their will physically and just driving the ball right at the Redbirds, forcing these fouls.
Don't forget about our women's Sweet 16 matchups Friday. ESPN and the app. Carolina Duke will start the day at 2:30 Eastern. Maryland and South Carolina, the 4 versus the 1. Don Staley's Gamecocks, the defending champions. LSU, NC State, 3 versus the 2. The nightcap from Spokane. And Ole Miss and UCLA all Friday on ESPN.
Saw Dawn Staley play in high school.
What an incredible player throughout her career. And now coach, one of the all-time greats.
Yet another great Philadelphia product. Roy
came from Temple to South Carolina some 17 years ago now. Impressive program she's built in Columbia. Halfway through our second half in Daytona Beach. And Cleveland State has made this a game again. Walker's going to be bumped in the interior. And Reese Robinson wondering where was the contact.
Somebody asked me on my way down here if I thought Dawn Staley would ever coach a men's team. And I said, I don't think she can afford the pay cut. At least so far. She can do whatever she wants.
Heck of a coach, motivator, recruiter, tactician,
Olympian,
gold medal winner. One more free throw for Chase Walker. Columbus, Ohio native, just a sophomore. He is committed to return to the Redbirds next season. He has fallen in love with the process. Offenses run through Chase Walker at times here in Daytona. And a steal and a foul. That goes on Chase Robinson.
Boy, the half has just devolved into a foul fest, which does favor Cleveland State, you would think. But eventually they're going to need some flow here. It's one thing to trade baskets, it's another to trade free throws. Generally don't gain much ground that way.
Kensinger, one of the top free throw shooters in the Missouri Valley.
You can get a stop when the other team's playing offense. You can't get a stop if they're on the foul line.
Seven points tonight for Johnny. Make it 8. Stevenson in double figures tonight with 11 off the bench. Tevin Smith now with 10. Looking for 13, and that three-pointer caroms out of bounds. And a timeout called by Danielle Robinson. We'll step aside. 9:32 remaining here in the Ocean Center. Championship on the line. We're dancing in March back at Daytona Beach. 58-49, 9:32 to go here in the Purple College Basketball Invitational Championship. One of these teams cut down the nets, take home the hardware. Joe Lenardi, Roy Philpott. Illinois State and Cleveland State. After the timeout called by Danielle Robinson, the third-year head coach for the Vikings, former player at Arkansas Little Rock. He's got some work to do, and they've made their respective runs in this half, Joe, but been held at arm's length so far by the Redbirds.
Illinois State being put on the foul line almost intentionally, it seems, by Cleveland State, and making just enough to keep this working margin intact. Nobody running any smooth offense lately.
Bozer for 3, and the hot hand remains scorching.
Until the 6th-year veteran makes his 3rd triple of the night.
7-0 run in the last 45 seconds after the Bozer 3. Stevenson on the other end. Not this time.
Chance to really open things up here for the Redbirds.
Joe, do you run the offense through 33?
He's been both a shooter and a creator here.
Kensinger from downtown.
Now we have the largest lead of the night for Illinois State.
64-49, that's correct. Math is on point this time. Danger zone right now for the Vikings. Staveski. And the putback is good for a beat and fouled in the process.
I know you want to challenge, but the last thing the Redbirds want to be doing here is giving up extra points on an and one when time and score are on your side.
Landon Wolf nearly fouled Staveski on the 3.
Exactly. Got away with one, maybe.
Poindexter
might end up giving up 3 the hard way. And I just, again, you look at it, who Cleveland State has on the floor, and you think, where's the explosiveness to make up a double-figure deficit?
Free throw is good. Vikings can set up their full court pressure here.
This is the way they're going to have to do it, is turning Illinois State over.
Redbirds only 7 turnovers so far tonight. Bozer will clear a path for a moment. Poindexter back to Bozer. Pass deflected twice and a turnover. Stevenson took his eye off it for a moment. Well, he wants a shot here, Joe.
Well, he knows he can beat Bozer off the dribble.
And a foul, no foul, was blocked cleanly. Davis was able to get in there. Well, the game has been so physical, you almost anticipated the whistle that time. Instead, it was all ball.
I sure did.
Davis on the other end, past Stevenson, a step back from 15. Bozer on the offensive glass. He's got 20 and a timeout for the Redbirds. Well, if a little Caden Bozer is good, more is better with a championship on the line. 66-52. Caden has got 20. The CBI tournament flashback takes us back to the 2016 title in just his first season in Nevada. Eric Musselman led the Wolfpack to their first national postseason tournament title, any team in the history of Mountain West Conference. Tyron Criswell, a big performance, an epic three-game series victory culminated in an 85-82 OT win. And the trophy hoisted back in 2016 by the MVP, Tyron Criswell and the Nevada Wolfpack. And Caden Bozer tonight making his claim. How about a perfect performance off the bench? 7 of 7 from the floor, 4 of 4 from 3, 2 of 2 from the stripe. Leitner-esque here in Daytona Beach.
Pretty high praise there, Mr. Philpott. Arguably the most accomplished college player of all time.
Well, that Final Four game, or the game that lifted Duke past Kentucky, where he didn't miss a shot, didn't miss a free throw, hit the game winner on the full court heave.
And stumped the guy.
That's right. Was that game, or was that another one?
It was the Elite Eight, and yet another tremendous Philadelphia sporting event at which I was in attendance.
Was that at the Spectrum?
Yep.
Thought so. Poindexter's open. Off the top of the backboard and out of bounds. 6:44 to go. And the lead remains at 14. It's been as high as 15 just moments ago.
The round before, it was Kentucky and Rick Pitino against UMass and John Calipari. Their first meeting in the NCAA tournament, and they had their 5th this past weekend.
It's funny to watch that old interview with those two as younger coaches, with a very young Jim Nance conducting that. Saw that go viral on social media for a minute. The jumpsuits, if you will, whatever you call them.
Warm-up suits.
Warm-up suits.
I don't think they were going into space.
Everybody wore the clothes much bigger back in the day, right?
Yeah, Baggy was in then.
Robinson with an inch and an air ball on the 3.
Is that tipped? I hope.
I don't think so. Through the curtains into the concourse. It had to be retrieved.
Out there by the Arc collection here at the Ocean Center.
6:21 to go.
Great facility here in Daytona.
Right next to the beach. A lot of time left in this one.
We'll see if it's enough, though, for Cleveland State.
Bozer a season high 20. And an offensive foul, the shift on the screen.
Kinzinger.
3rd on Johnny Kinzinger. And that'll be his 4th. And Chase Walker going to check back in. Multiple substitutions for both sides.
How do you take Bozer? Obviously, they haven't played much together, if at all. Feels like the Redbirds are maybe 1 or 2 stops away from salting this away.
Off the pump fake, there's a path and a foul. Walker hammers Chase Robinson, a chance for 3.
Got him with the body. And again, an unnecessary and one to give up when you've got a double-digit lead. You got beat, let them score, let the clock run.
Chase Robinson, 6th man of the year. 10 points tonight, 3 the hard way. New foul from Walker, leave a mark on 22. Poindexter, dribble through the pressure himself. Right.
Redbirds, they're short a ball handler with Kinzinger's foul trouble. Vikings obviously would like to take advantage of that. Maybe a good time to isolate Walker, but he gets bodied up by Robinson down low, and we're going to have free throws, or at least the front end of an and-one trip.
So Robinson picks up his 4th. Kinzinger has 4 for Illinois State. Walker had 4, it felt like, for an eternity yesterday in the semis. But then a nice job for Ryan Peden in allowing him to get back on the court during crunch time, and that paid dividends with 4 critical free throws made, with the outcome still very much in doubt. Walker's short. Cleveland State will get a stop. Wonder if Tevin Smith is ready to get more involved in this attempted comeback. Staveski buries the 3. So an 11-point lead drops down to 8.
He's a heat check candidate.
Banks across midcourt. Walker gets it to the top of the key. Vikings with a little bit of momentum, playing that physical brand of defense again. Dalton Banks with a pass. Walker on the putback.
Not easy to box out that guy. Makes him pay.
And a lunch pail mentality for number 35 in red and white tonight for the Redbirds. Stevenson on the spin, and Walker touched that one out of bounds. That was a clean rejection.
Going to stay with the Vikings, but only 10 on the timer. Well, they do a little housekeeping under the basket.
Taj Staveski moments ago. Taj picking up his scoring. Now with 7. A 29-point outburst. It's Queens back in the quarters. And then Walker on the putback. Isaac Abide will hand it off. Shot clock down to 5. Stevenson will force the issue. Now it's Robinson on the spin and a wedgie.
Well, they keep it, but it does not reset. Oh, it does reset. Oh, because it's an alternate possession.
Just got stuck right between the rim and the backboard in a...
I think that's the first wedgie of the tournament for those scoring at home.
We know that you are. Robinson's got to inbound, and he finally does. Here's Smith. Backs down his defender, lays it in. 68-60. A smart play by Poindexter, was trying to pick up the cheap foul at 80 feet from the rim, get to the free throw line. And Illinois State content to allow a little bit of clock to tick. A couple seconds to tick off the clock here. Banks with 9. Now 8 to shoot. Outside to Pence. Big shot. If it goes, and it does. Ty Pence.
Only thing better than a nice long possession for Illinois State, making a 3 at the end of it. They can taste it now.
Devin Smith, a circus shot. He gets it to drop, and a timeout. Danielle Robinson will talk things over. And the lead at 9 for ISU. It'll be their possession after this timeout, and Ty Pence enters the chat in the three-point party now with 11, 3 of 5 from downtown with 3:03 to go. ESPN's exclusive presentation of the Purple CBI Championship is brought to you by Purple. Greatest sleep ever invented. And also by Carvana. Buy your next car with ease at Carvana. Now the sun beginning to set here in the Sunshine State. And the Nets getting set to be cut down. Redbirds hope that they are 3 minutes and 3 seconds away from doing just that. For the first time in school history, Reggie Theus in the house. Great to see him back here in Daytona Beach.
AD over at Bethune-Cookman these days had a nice visit with Reggie, recalling his work on the original ESPN2 way back. Did a St. Joe's at St. Bonaventure game in Olean, New York. And I was thinking what Olean has in common with Daytona, and the answer is absolutely nothing.
Just wondering where you were going with that. Reggie Theus, of course, played with the Kings organization originally in Kansas City, Joe. Out of the timeout, Walker finds a way to the rim. And soaring through the air, he connects with a layup. Walker with 13, the lead back to 11, 2:30 to go. The three is short. And it bounces back to Stevenson. He'll bulldoze his way inside, missed the floater. Walker, a clean rebound. And Illinois State approaching 2 to play. Banks with a left hand, falling away from the rim. 75-62.
Probably too early to foul for Cleveland State, but maybe wishing they had done so.
Staveski off the high ball screen, into traffic. Outside to Franklin for 3, made 2 yesterday. And a foul inside against Cleveland State.
I think it's Stevenson trying to body up Walker. Give him credit for the attempt. As we see Banks go coast to coast for a 13-point lead.
Double bonus now for Illinois State the rest of the way. And a chance to match its largest lead of the game with a couple of made free throws for Dalton Banks. He started all but 2 games this year, has Dalton. Nearly 4 assists per game. He has been part of the heart and soul of the Redbirds. And this incredible season that they're hoping ends with the 22nd win of the campaign. Davis back on the floor. Walker goes out. And Robinson, Chase, and Reese back on the court for the Vikings.
So 5 ball handlers on the court for the Redbirds. 5 more reliable free throw shooters as well. Knowing what's coming, yet a pair missed there.
Banks 0 for 2. Vikings have to act with a sense of urgency here.
They're just not built that way, at least on offense. Ooh, he pushed off.
Devin Smith was fouled. Boy, there was a forearm out front to begin it.
Big time.
And Banks picks up the personal. Tevin Smith, 14 points tonight. 1 more free throw. Don't forget, NIT action. Chance to go to the semis. Coming up next, Kent State at Loyola Chicago here on ESPN2. The winner gets Chattanooga in the semifinals.
Loyola won 2 games on the West Coast, San Jose State and UC Irvine.
Smith missed both after Banks missed a pair for Illinois State. Just over 90 seconds to go. Full court pressure. Illinois State able to beat it.
San Francisco and San Jose State. 2 in the Bay Area.
Kinzinger will back away Robinson. Shot clock down to 6. Kinzinger the floater and was fouled.
But if you're going to foul, you got to foul early.
Was on 22, Chase Robinson at his
I mean, not that fouling is going to change anything with 74 seconds left. But most teams do it with no respect at all for the leisure time of the people in attendance.
Robinson fouls out. And coming on the court is Chaz Watson. Kinzinger at the stripe. It's 90% this season. Take a look at our game track presented by Carvana. Hayden Bozer was perfect tonight. Cleveland State 4 in double figures.
But nobody else.
Shooting.
Nobody else.
That's right.
They only have 62. But the game has been won at the three-point line, as you can well see. A difference of 21 points. Make it 18 as Vesky drains one.
Redbirds will beat the pressure after the three by Stavesky, and Ty Pence will buy a little more time on the baseline dish. A smart move by Poindexter to not shoot it, try to chew up some more clock. Skip pass, he'll get it back. That's a three. Poindexter unable to cash it in. And a foul over the back on Davis. 42 seconds to go. Robinson with one more. Standing freshman year for Robinson, Cleveland native. 28 games, 16 starts, very bright future. Mentioned he's on the all-freshman team in the Horizon. 1 of 2, the rebound by Smith. Off the pump fake, no, and there's more contact and more free throws.
Both of these teams, Roy, are going to be picked at or near the top of their leagues next year, I can assure you, given who they've got coming back, who they've got confirmed coming back. And I've been really impressed by both of these young coaches.
Yeah, fun to get to know them a little bit this week. Ryan Peden and Danielle Robinson, their third-year head coaches. Devin Smith with 15. You expect some more full. Expecting that.
Got to try and turn them over. Walker came back in the game, given that that's likely, probably because Ryan Peden wants him to have the experience of being out there for a championship.
Kinzinger gets it over to Banks and a foul.
Yeah, they didn't foul on the prior couple of trips, but getting it under 10, 3 possessions, so theoretically time and score, there is enough time. You're counting on a lot of missed foul shots.
Vikings in the midst of a 6-0 run to try to sneak back into it. Another chance to make it a double-digit lead again for Dalton Banks. And the Redbirds starting to sense that this one is in their favor.
Walker goes out now as
and Banks makes 2. Stevenson will try to buy a little time, not picking it up as long as possible. Stavesky, Devin Smith, they need a 3. Stavesky knows it from 28. And Kinzinger, the rebound, he'll be double teamed and off the foot of Stevenson out of bounds with 16 seconds to go.
Trapping, but no fouling, at least thus far, by the Vikings. Walker back.
And a nice round of applause for Jordan Davis as he checks out.
152 Division I games under his belt.
Kinzinger has it. He'll get it to Walker, and that should do it. Illinois State, for the first time, wins a postseason tournament on a national scale. 79-68 the final, and the Redbirds are partying tonight. They are your purple college basketball Invitational champions.
Good shot of Caden Bozer and tournament MVP Chase Walker, but if there was an MVP tonight, it was Bozer.
Chase says, hi, Mom. They are the champions, and congratulations to the Redbirds. Ryan Peden, an incredible job this year. They are champions here of the Purple College Basketball Invitational. For Joe Lenardi, I'm Roy Philpott. Good night from Daytona.